Good afternoon. Hope you guys are doing great. Going into the last week of spring football here. It's been a great 4 weeks, and I told you guys the first time it was going to be the most excited I've ever been for a spring football, and I don't know why. And it's continued. Our guys are working hard, and coaches are coaching their butts off, and it's been very competitive. And, been a huge undertaking going against Coach Dow and his offense and the new things, but it's awesome, though. Any questions?
Clayton, you mentioned that excitement. Just how has that been realized during this past month? What have you seen that's made you that much more excited?
I still believe that it is the young players and the new faces, the new coaches, just some new things that we're trying to do. I'm seeing new plays on offense that I'm not used to seeing during our springtime, depending on going against each other. But that's been great for us. Just the fact that our guys, I think there's the newness of it, and it's a new year, so why not be excited?
Clayton, what's the and I know you'll probably point this back to Beamer, but how do you go about the thin defensive back room, the thin defensive end room in particular, in trying to make that work? Because obviously there's a lot of young guys that you want to be able to see, and I'm sure fans are excited to see them as well.
If I'm a fan, I would definitely be excited as well. But that question kind of rung me back to exactly 2 years ago when I was sitting here in the press conference when we came here with a thin room and thin DBs. So, we found ways to make multiple packages to where it may be 3 linebackers on the field. But it's been great to watch these guys play. It's been great to watch some guys who don't get as much burn, who don't get as much reps, but now they get to showcase themselves. But watching some young guys stand up, some walk-ons stand up, and obviously trying to keep our veterans sharp and clean and crisp.
Going into Saturday now, what would make a successful spring game for you? What are you kind of looking for to finish this spring out on a high note out of the game?
Yep. The main thing for me really is, one, as a football team, that we go out there and play a clean spring game. And, we tackle well, we take great angles. We don't let people run down the middle of William Bryce Stadium wide open, things like that. And, no long passes for touchdowns. Nothing wrong with a touchdown pass here and there, but no bombs over Baghdad type of stuff. So we're trying to – I hope that they're not – no bombs over top of our defensive back's head. Excuse my quote on that. But I want to do a great job of just being clean. I don't want it to be a shutout, to be honest with you, but that's good and bad for both parts. So it's just a clean spring game. See, I'm in trouble, man. I'm in trouble, man. Y'all don't do me like that, man, please. God.
You've seen these guys play a couple scrimmages now. Were there specific things you noticed improve between scrimmage 1 and scrimmage 2, and maybe things in scrimmage 2 you're looking to see improve on Saturday?
Yep. The main thing from spring game 1 to spring game 2, we call it, and they're games, they're not scrimmages. That's the mindset we take. So from the first spring game to the second one, our guys were out there trying to figure things out, and they weren't playing super fast in regards of sprinting to the ball. And the main thing I saw the difference from spring game 1 to spring game 2 was just the effort. The flat-out effort, and how obviously they was a little bit more comfortable with some things, even though the first one was practice 9. So you would think they would be comfortable, but it was their first time getting let loose for a long period of time. But we was very excited about both spring games in regards of the execution, but the effort in spring game 2 was outstanding.
With your freshmen who just showed up in January, how much progress have you seen from those guys from day 1 to whatever day it is right now?
We just finished day 13, but it feels like day 31. But, yes, so I think those guys have done a really good job of, they have to understand that, once you come to college, you don't have to make every tackle. You don't have to make every sack. There's 11, 10 other guys beside you that are just as good as you. And you just got to do your job, and then now let your creativity, imagination, and your playmaking ability take over. They're starting to do that now. And so that's fun to watch those guys just, okay, wait a minute, Coach White, this defense it has some layers and some barriers to it, but once you break through one, it becomes fun. So, and I think they're starting to get a feel for that.
Stankonia favorite Outkast album, or is that?
What did you say?
Stankonia, is that your favorite Outkast album?
Where did that come from?
The Bombs Over Baghdad.
Oh, that's right. Yes, that's it. Yes, yes, absolutely.
How?
Love it back.
Yeah, yeah. That's the song. That's what I thought you were referencing.
That's exactly what I was referencing.
There you go.
Thank you so much.
You've done a lot of work. Obviously, you coach the linebackers. What have you seen from that room specifically, trying to replace guys like Sherrod and Brad?
I will say that those guys did a great job of learning how to be college dudes from those two guys. And so I'm starting to see those guys now starting to let loose and open up and have personality. And, once, the big brothers kind of leave the house, now there's older brothers in the house. So I think those guys are opening up and playing fast. And I'm starting to see them trying to develop the 2 young guys that we have here between Jaron and Grayson. So that's been the main thing, watching them grow and teach other guys. I call him Grayson when he's in trouble, so. I'm just kidding, man.
Clayton, I know that it's spring and everything, and the scholarship running backs are down to just 2 or 3 if you count to carry on. But how has the run defense looked this spring, and how do you keep that going forward, not knowing really what other running backs might be coming in here this summer?
So our main thing on the run defense is obviously we know it's been our Achilles heel the first 2 seasons here in regards of just the number itself. We've had good games and bad games, but the overall big picture, we want to be better. We have to be better, and we will be. Our guys have taken a little bit more serious approach in regards of understanding what it takes to have a good team defense. You have to be balanced on both sides. You can't be good in one and bad in the other. And we also know that TFLs and sacks also helps your run defense. When they do the stats, unfortunately, like I said, they count the sacks and the TFLs against the rush defense, so we got to do a better job there.
Clayton, you mentioned the fact that the secondary has been a little thin. You're still going to bring in a ton of guys over the summer from this recruiting class. How do you, as a coordinator and a position coach, kind of evaluate what you see in spring while still knowing that it's maybe not a complete picture of what this team is going to look like in August?
Well, the main thing is just understanding, reflecting on guys like a Spalding who's been here. Obviously, Keenan is in and out right now, so maybe a couple new guys coming in this summer in regards to freshmen, Zabari and Vakari. So hopefully those guys are come in and give us some size and some coverability. I just have to use my imagination and pray and hope and have faith and all those words. So that's really what it is.
Clayton, when you look at guys like DQ and Nick from last year to this year, I mean, what is it about those guys, I guess, on the front end that allowed them to have the impact they did as freshmen? And I guess how have they kind of changed from, spring then to now, almost through their second spring?
To have that kind of success as a freshman at that position, it's deeper than football. I mean, it's more who they are as men from a family upbringing, from a coaching style as growing up, but that's way deeper than football, how those guys played. And now they've taken it to a whole nother level in regards of just the football IQ, just the football, they're both football savants at football. They're both great at everything they do on the football field. And they just got to keep it up and just keep staying hungry and do what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it, be on time, be there. Their ability is through the roof. And I hate to keep going on and on and on, but it's hard to find 2 better guys than those 2.
Clayton, I don't know if you had a chance to speak with DQ's high school coach, Robin Bacon. You was talking with him yesterday, and he was mentioning just how that background of being a quarterback in high school, how that was able to help him. And he talked about the other day when he spoke with us. Did you notice that, and how much has he been able to speed that process up, obviously heading into the sophomore year, but during that freshman season, just to be able to recognize some of those things that freshmen might not recognize right away as a defensive back?
So start with Coach Bacon. My very first recruiting trip when I was at Stanford in 2007 was to AC Flora High School to see an offensive lineman. So I've known Coach Bacon for a long time. So we talk very deep. But to watch him, like I said, I've told y'all before, I played high school quarterback. I went to college as a safety. Now I play linebacker. But it translates very, very easily for a guy like DQ to come over as a quarterback because of obviously if you're a quarterback in high school, you can retain information. And so and playing safety at this level is basically retaining a bunch of information and have unbelievable retention and things that you saw a year ago and you remember it and you can click back, and both of those guys have that.
Didn't that offensive lineman sign with Clemson?
His initial was KP. I don't want to say his name. If you remember the name.
Yeah. There's
Kenneth.
Yeah.
Who said that? Job, man. Nice.
There's a little more to the story about it than
Yes,
that.
I'm not trying to go down that hole, but yes.
Yeah.
I've known Coach Bacon for a while.
With Mo, who's obviously in your position group and strong as well, how much have you been able to spend time with those guys and try to keep them up to speed on on what y'all are trying to
Yeah,
do. This
with
fall.
them being part of the team, it's still mandatory to them to be here, even though they hurt and they injured. They spend a lot of time in the athletic training room. But those guys, I mean, they're both pros in the mindset-wise, so they have to stay locked in. They have to be right there to stay up the task and stay up the beat with the rest of the defense. Because we're doing some different things in regards to just calls and checks, and they want to be up the beat, but they're right there. Most they're every day, and so is Strong. Found out that me and Jordan Strong, you guys are gonna love this. We were born in the same hospital in Dunn, North Carolina. So I found it out. The coach, it's a long story, but he was born in my hometown in the same hospital. There's a 50% chance it's on the same floor. It's only 2 floors. So it could be the same room, but we were born in the same hospital. That's rare now, I'm telling you. You guys are good? Thank you, guys. Nice seeing y'all.